Tic Talk, Tic Talk, Tic Talk, Talk.
A real Celtic talk show by real Celtic fans from the Carluke Shamrock Supporters Club on Hail Media.
Tic Talk, Tic Talk, Tic Talk, 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 Talk.
Hail and welcome to Tic Talk with the Carluke Shamrock Celtic Supporters Club. You can find information about the club at carlukeshamrock.com and information about the Tic Talk podcast and all the other Celtic family podcasts at hailmedia.com. Now, my name is Richard and I'm recording this on a very late evening on Sunday the 26th of May 2013. I have just brought my family home from a fantastic shambolic party with Carluke Shamrock boys and girls in our local chapel hall. We had a fantastic night after, of course, Celtic clinched the double by winning the Scottish Cup much earlier today. And in amongst the bouncy castles for the kids, the wine and beers on the tables, the different people arriving all at different times in cars and buses, in between the pizza buffets and the raffle prizes, etc., I took the opportunity to grab groups of people into one of the side rooms in the chapel hall where we recorded a few different panels and put together a show that's a kind of a curtain closure for the season that we've just had. We've discussed today's game at Hampden, also ran through the season itself, highlights and lowlights, favourite players, favourite moments, and some of the hilarious shambolic experiences that this club seems to have every single year. So hopefully you will enjoy it and find it of interest, and this is the Tic Talk closure to the season, and we shall see you on the other side. Right, Tic Talk has pulled a wee posse out to make a panel in the middle of this shambolic celebration evening. So around this panel we have
Johnny, Brian right side of the lights,
Stephen Conley
and Peter.
There you go, 3 Conleys, good God, and a good guy called Johnny. There you go, that's a good mix.
Pull him up against it, mate. Watch your ball get through his legs.
Oh no!
Don't drag up history, man. Don't drag up history.
Do you right now?
Right, so
I think I've put the ball through every one of your legs.
Johnny, the Steve you've ever played in a team is
Steve was still got the scar when you kicked him up in the air when we beat you at 5 sides doing it at the mountain.
Aye, Galladay.
The Galladay.
See, this
The Galladay trophy.
Oh, so this is that.
right, boys, let's focus here. Celtic, you're back.
Right, on you go then, man.
I know we like your local touch from time to time, but dearie me. So, huddle for the double. We've done it. So, talk me through the day. Johnny boy, the shambolic bus.
Superb.
Went into town. You went to the association.
We had a few bevies.
Right, and then on to
It
Hampden.
was actually quite quiet.
Aye,
I was surprised at that.
So we did, aye.
And we headed into Hampden, walked up to the game.
Right.
Aye, good wee day, good. And of course, the takeaway. Good first half performance.
Aye. Good play. For both teams. Some nice chances actually for both teams.
Hibs.
The good header right here.
Hibs had a
Aye,
chance.
cracking save for the big man.
To tell you the truth, I was looking at Celtic. It was solid today. At the back, maybe a couple of wee things here and there. But I thought we played well. We done well enough to win.
Took care of business.
Yeah, we done the job without it being outstanding.
Aye.
The cup finals before against Hibs.
Oh, aye.
Right. It's just what
We
was
done the
needed.
business. It was good. It was a great day. I loved it because I had all the kids and that there, so
Yep.
that helps.
Aye, we've got a busy wee hall of night, Peter.
We have, aye.
Yes, all the families in, bouncy castles,
Bouncy
pizzas,
castle, this is what
here, there and everywhere.
I think this is what this club's all about, to be
Aye.
perfectly honest. I was actually quite proud when we sat in the association. I was looking about and there were all the smiling faces and folk just relaxed. It was
Aye.
and I was looking about and I'm saying these guys have all been with me for the last 20 odd years.
Aye.
It's terrific.
Superb.
You know what I mean? We never The day actually worked out great because we left at the back of 12. Johnny was late again after I had that in.
Oh, that's two.
That's because I went to Mass.
Hey, nothing to I went to Mass.
There are not many other people.
Hey, we were there last night.
Apparently the video counts.
I gave
Johnny's
Steve
tradition.
a salute.
So all went to plan.
I went to plan. McKeever was as usual in the goof like, oh, we'll not get in the association. We turned up at the association, there was nobody in it, as Johnny says.
Aye.
And we were kind of we got the jukebox on, the records were playing, we're just sitting here chilling out, having a few beers.
Brilliant.
Got to the game, we walked up to the game, we were actually in the game at 25-3, weren't we? It was early doors for us.
Right.
You know?
Nice one.
You never usually see the huddle.
We don't.
Did you have to run him through it? What was
Aye,
that?
aye.
We actually changed
So
Celtic
the
training.
11 players get together in a circle and then hug each other.
What are you doing down there?
Strange.
So, what about the game, Stephen? How did you see that go?
The game was great for me. Unlike you guys, I sat in the comfort of my sofa.
Yes.
Watched the match.
Right.
I thought a few standout performances. Scott Brown.
Right.
First and foremost, I thought he was head and shoulders above everybody else. Anthony Stokes was fantastic as well.
Man of the match in the stadium.
So he did.
Aye. Other than that, I thought it was a very efficient
Just what Johnny
for
was
a
saying.
performance. It was
At that level.
It was almost. I don't want to say men against boys, but it was, once Hibs had a spell in the first 5 to 10 minutes where they looked really threatening. If they got a goal with that Doyle had the header and it went in there, it would be a completely different game.
Right.
I don't know if it was a different game, Stephen, but
Well, it certainly would have changed.
it
It certainly would have changed the format. It wouldn't have turned in. I mean, the second half was a complete procession. But I thought, the first goal was an error for Hibs. It was terrible defending, but the second goal was it was undefendable. It was just such a good cross and such a good header. It was, you can set up your defensive plays, you can set everything up, but it was just too good.
Aye.
It was the cross and everything was so good. The header was so good.
Aye.
And then it was just the second half. It was, they tried their hearts out, Hibs, but they were just
huffing and puffing.
just weren't in the same. Just weren't in the same league basically as Celtic.
Aye.
So, it was thoroughly enjoyable. Winning the Scottish Cup for the 36th time.
There you are. There you go.
Aye, that's
it's
a remarkable achievement. So
It's a pity we're not Scotland's most successful club, isn't it?
that's a pity. Have you seen the new hashtag on Twitter that all the Sevco fans are doing?
No.
First to 50.
Oh, you beauty!
So,
Living
first to
in
50.
cuckoo land.
First
I'll tell you another thing,
First to
Richard.
50 titles.
I have to say
This is their new thing that
I've
they're
never-
celebrating.
I've never seen Hampden like that before in all my life. It was
Oh, the
green and white. It was unbelievable.
It was quite a display, actually.
It was. The Hibs fans, I have to applaud them. I thought they were terrific. I thought,
Right.
I couldn't believe the numbers they turned out. I have to believe that.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
There was a part where in the telly the Hibs fans were singing and going for it, and then all the Celtic fans were applauding them afterwards.
It was a great atmosphere. It was a great atmosphere at the game. I have to admit.
Well, see the display at the start of the game. Obviously, it was green and white in 1888. What was the flag that they were passing up? I couldn't quite make that.
Brother Walford was in the
Brother
middle.
Walford,
Aye. Is that what you mean, right in the middle?
Aye,
of the
right
middle?
in the
I think it was part of the
Was that the Green
the
Brigade that
display.
organised
That's
that?
why you had to put your whatever was on your seat. You had to put
these
it up at
cards.
that moment as soon as the team
walked
came
out the
out.
tunnel.
Yep.
So if you're at the game, you're going to have to catch it.
Aye. And Brian, you're a fan of the Green Brigade. Quite happy with that display that they did.
They let off 3 smoke bombs a day by the way. My head was busting.
Yeah, he was busted.
I'm telling you right now, my head was busting with the 3 smoke bombs going on. But no, brilliant. See the guys, take my half them, put atmosphere in the stadium. You can't take that away from them. That's one thing.
And have you seen Johnny's scarf?
seen it?
Have you seen this
Is it
scarf?
there?
I've never seen
Is that one of the ones
I
you
am
get?
now.
Is that one of the ones you get?
Honorary member.
of the Green Brigade. There you go. Now, listeners, for your benefit, the material in this is top quality. I've not seen a scarf like it in my puff.
There you
It
go.
looks like one of the Real Madrid strips that you buy in
on the
Turkey.
back, on the back, you have
We've got all these different sections of the
the
photographs,
games,
aye.
the games, right there
the
you go.
flares, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. We've got the. Was that the?
That's Hampden.
That's the last display at Hampden.
Yep.
The big Celtic cross.
Obviously, that's
It's just
a
outstanding.
European.
That's from the Barcelona game. Aye, was that one of the?
Aye.
Oh no, sorry,
No,
that's
that's
Hampden.
Hampden.
That's Hampden. And then there's all the flags, so that's just a belter. So my question is, if I've bought a raffle ticket for the night, is this one of the prizes?
It can be. You can have it, no problem.
Because I'll buy a couple of more raffle tickets.
I know.
How did you come across this?
Well,
We can't, to be
Is it
honest.
top secret?
The TikTok lawyers have banned us from getting into details of it. In case Focus are listening in.
Police Scotland are kind of checking these kind of things out, you know what I mean? Police Scotland
you
knows
never know.
Did you get harassed?
What you could do, Richard, is a wee quiz on TikTok
Right.
for all our listeners. All two of them.
Oh, two of them. The two Macaulays. There's more. We're growing by the day. So it's absolutely top quality. So let's look outside just today, right? The season itself. Johnny, happy, delighted, quite satisfied, disappointed? What's your general?
No, I'm
Feeling
happy.
a bit off.
I'm happy with the outcome.
The highlights for you?
Obviously the Barcelona. Today, brilliant.
Aye.
The Aberdeen game coming back. European ties, brilliant. There's been
A lot of high points.
a lot of great performances. I love to see young boys coming through.
Right.
I mean, as for an instance, Forrest played against St Johnson the other week there, and he was superb. And then at Tannadice last week, he never played him. He wasn't even on the bench. So you knew if he was touch and go, and he played the day.
Aye.
And he's good. And for Hampden, a wee man like him,
Aye.
stretches a team. And the boy, the blonde-headed guy, had a good game. Actually,
Aye.
that was it. A good game
Aye.
against. But I'm seeing there 2 or 3 coming through. And that's important, and I think there've got to be 2 or 3 coming in as well.
Yep. Nice one.
But it's been overall for me, it's been absolutely outstanding,
Excellent.
and it's up there.
What's the boys' thoughts on shambolic expeditions this season? Let's go away from the team itself. What about the club? What's been the best journeys and stuff on the road? On tour as the bus?
We've not really had that many on tours this week. We usually have a day out, and we've not had that this year.
Aye.
For enough, but hopefully that'll turn next year. We'll have
That
it.
means we can hit
You're a social convener this
Two
year.
next year. You can bank that.
put that in the,
But as I say,
minutes.
we're still a solid club. We're still,
Aye.
you know,
Big
we're not
facilities here.
we're not the biggest club in the world, but we've got a heart of gold. We donate to charity every year, so we've
Aye.
£1,500 going to charity. I think it's £1,300. Sorry, going to charity this year.
Yep.
For the Willie McLean thing.
Yep.
We've donated for the hall here, an aerial. We bought for the hall.
That's right. Aye. I watched the game. I had the family in
I
here
mean,
the day,
and
the baby and everything. You've got Bouncy Castle set up for the kids. It's been
Bouncy
superb.
Castles.
Aye.
It's all about family. I mean, it's all about us in the first place, the guys
Coming
you know,
together.
the guys, and then our extended family. If you know what I mean, our family. And that Johnny's got his family here. I've got my family here.
Aye.
You know, yourself, Richard's got your family here. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Enjoying all these moments.
At the end of the day, it's Celtic. You know. We'll win next season, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely.
The boys are singing 10 in a row a day.
The way it's gone, it could be
If I
20.
see that, I'll be happy. I meant to say this. The
Kano Foundation.
The homeboys are on about it all the time. But
Aye.
what you can do is buy a seat for
Yes.
£50.
That's right.
Right? Now, what I was saying,
That's no
if
problem.
10 or 15 years, just stick a tenner in
Club can buy a ticket to it.
and buy a
go.
5 or
Doesn't
6
doesn't need
tickets.
10 or 15 years.
A
The club can
shambolic
buy
seat.
I mean, we could donate £50 to Kano.
Aye,
You know what I mean?
but I'm going to ask some of the lads to stick a tenner and maybe get 4 for the Carluke Shamrock. It
That'd be
gets
brilliant.
four kids to a game every other week.
That'd be good. What about the games then, Brian? Give me your top 3 games this season.
Top 3.
Right. And Stephen, you think about your top 3 players while he's going in this run.
Top
right?
3 games, obviously Barcelona's up there with the kind of
Right.
up at the top.
Right.
One of the greatest nights of my life.
See the 3 European Champions League games qualify in the league.
Uh-huh.
I thought there were 3 good games. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Benfica was a really tactical game.
Right.
and obviously we were sitting on the edge of our seat. An idea that was it. But see the 2 qualifiers before that, we played really well in them.
Aye. Helsinki and
especially away from him. We played really well away from him in the 2 games.
Really stepped up.
Aye. So that kind of gives me a wee bit of heart for obviously we'll need to go through, I don't know, is it 3 qualifiers or something?
Aye. But apparently we're the seeded team in each of the qualifiers, so you're correct. You know, the first 2 rounds you're Moldovan champions, Azerbaijan and these guys, and then it's a tougher game in the 3rd round, so
stepping up.
Aye.
So your 3 players over the season?
Top 3 players, I would go for Christ, it's been a funny season in the sense that probably about 7 or 8 players have kind of stood out. Most of the first 11. But my particular favourite player, I think playing for Celtic, I think the guy's an absolute class act, is Joe Ledley. I think he's an outstanding player. We miss him when he's not there.
Right.
Big Vic in the centre of midfield. Again, I think he's absolutely outstanding.
Right.
And the other 3rd player I would probably go for is just for his performance against Barcelona alone over the 2 legs, not just at Celtic Park, but Big Foster.
Big Foster.
Aye. It's outstanding. The night I was quite lucky. I get the prawn sandwich seats for the.
You hear this, Johnny?
Doing his last 2 million.
I must be the only Conley that doesn't like actually paying for things. I don't see the point in putting my hand in my own pocket if I can put it in somebody else's.
So. Me? What's he doing to the family name?
It's a jumped up socialist.
Brilliant. Johnny, what were your 3 players for the season?
I've got to go for the goalkeeper.
Right.
He was my favourite player last year. The goalkeeper this year until he got his injury. After that, he had a wee bit of a wobble.
Aye.
I might surprise you all, but my actual Celtic player of the year this year is Kelvin Wilson.
Oh,
I think he has been superb.
Okay.
I think he's been superb.
Aye.
Next season he could stamp his name on the Celtic team.
Really cement his place.
Other than that, I've seen them. They've done their bit, and it'd be hard between Hooper, who is lazy but does it in the big games,
deadly,
which is good.
Yep.
So I would have to go with Chris Commons, who
I thought you'd done
is a good
incredible
season.
Playing through injuries and injections and all sorts of stuff. We found out, of course.
But I'm looking for the best out of the big centre half next year. I think you're going to see yourself having a centre half there in the mouldy
being him.
People looking up here to look at him.
Right, okay, nice one. Peter, the boys were mentioning European games. What's the hopes for next season? Can it carry on? Do we start again?
Well, you know when a podcast and I get shot down for it, but I didn't really want to get in the last 16, but people were happy to get to the last 16 for the money.
Yep.
I want I want to go to Europa League, Stephen. That's what I want to.
You actually had your eyes in the cup.
I did
itself.
And the way they're talking now, Neil Lennon says I can't see why we can't get to another European final. Somebody else said that as well. One of the players said that as well.
Right.
That's the European final we can get to. We can't get to the Champions League final. I know that. You all know that sitting about this table. You know. So that's why that's why I wanted to qualify out the group, Stephen, but I wanted to qualify in the Europa League.
Right.
You're misinterpreting what I'm saying.
I get exactly what you're saying.
I mean, to me,
I would rather dine at the big boys' table than maybe get knocked out with
the big
somebody
boys
else in the
table
quarter-finals of the Europa League.
Finished within 10 minutes of Juventus game. It was finished. As soon as they scored, it was finished.
But that was, I tell you, that Juventus game, that was probably the best performance Celtic put in all season.
They played great.
And
Juventus,
they had more chances in that game than anything else.
Juventus
they played brilliant and get beat 3-0.
Juventus had 3 shots a goal that night, virtually, and scored 3 goals.
That's it. That's the thing.
That's the difference at that level.
I agree. I mean, I listened to that. You get to this level, and that's what happens.
Aye.
They played Bayern Munich. They had 3 shots a goal. They never scored anything. Never scored a goal against Bayern Munich. I watched the game. Never scored a goal. You know what I mean? And I'm saying to myself, you know, my 3 players of the year. Lusnik, I thought Lusnik.
Lusnik, right?
I thought he had a great game in Moscow. See, that night we went to Moscow. I thought he had a brilliant game that night. Yeah, he had a brilliant game against Barcelona as well. He had a great game against Barcelona. I think he's been a steady You're a solid right back. I think we're actually quite lucky. We've got two good right backs. I think left back's a problem. Aguirre's a problem.
He did a good game today.
So he did, John. That was the best game he played for a long time.
Yep.
But he tends to get caught under the ball as Aguirre. The ball comes out, he tends to get caught underneath it.
Right. So if you've covered Lustig, who's your other two guys you throw at your top three then?
Oh, my top three is unfortunately you can't pick Jane Forrester or Scott Brown because they've been injured all season.
Right.
Because
I wouldn't disagree with you that even for their performances when they come in, Peter.
Scott Brown's man.
You know,
Today, Scott Brown was the best player in the park by a country mile today. I know Gary
really up
Hooper
for it.
got it, but Scott
And
Brown.
I'll tell you better than that, actually, since he's come back from his injury, you know, he's only played 4 games, 5 games, something like that. He's been outstanding every game that I've seen.
But people have been saying about Gary Hooper. I heard Johnny saying he's a lazy guy, but I mean,
Big games.
how do you replace 30 odd goals, big game goals?
The
you know?
stats are incredible.
Oh, we can sign Big Higgy.
Big
scored 26.
So he did. Everyone else is stealing from Motherwell as well. So is Hooper one of your top three then? Would you throw him in there?
I think Hooper's performance again in Moscow. I thought he was outside. What a game he had in Moscow that night.
Right.
I think Gary Hooper's a class act. I really do.
Is he staying?
I think he's the only one that's going.
I think he's off.
Right.
He's definitely
That's
off.
2 off Johnny Bryan.
I know why Emma's not going. Why Emma?
No.
Victor's staying. He's staying. I think Hooper's going.
Right.
And the goalkeeper.
I think the goalkeeper's staying, Brian. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think the goalkeeper's going anywhere. He's not wanting to go
My
to play.
opinion, I'm with you, Peter. I think the only players,
I think he's
We
going to
need-
play with loose.
the squad that we've got now,
Apart from Barry
we need to
McCall.
keep together.
Obviously. The captain at the end of the day.
I don't know.
I thought it was a nice touch. I thought it was a nice
It
touch.
was, wasn't it? Aye, passing over a
I
band.
honestly don't know. I don't know.
With Hooper. You don't.
If you'd asked me that in January, I would have said Hooper's away. But
Done deal.
since then,
I think Tony
he's
Watt's going to
played. He's been involved. He's been involved in all the squads. He loves it here.
Aye.
I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
No convinced either way. Brian, Hooper, is he going?
Think so.
Think so.
Aye.
Not totally sure, but
I think he's away, and I think the
goes.
goalkeeper, every chance the goalkeeper going to be
Just
soon
for
to
his
England.
international career that you've spoke about before.
Aye.
Right.
But if you want to say about players coming in, Richard,
Oh, here we go.
I would take the boy who was up front with Hibs today. I'd take a gamble on him.
Would you?
I would
Could
take
be
a
another
no
Derek
chance.
Reardon, but Brian. Could be another.
Toxic. He's absolutely toxic.
Stephen, I just don't think you take a gamble on him.
I would rather take.
Johnny Russell, I would take Johnny Russell
I would
for
take
Dundee United.
no. I would take the two of them for Dundee
Aye,
United.
Gary
Mackay,
McKay,
Stephen,
Mackay,
and Mackay, Stephen, and Russell. I'd take the two of them before I'd take a Lee Griffiths.
I'm going to take any of them.
Yeah. Could he handle it, Johnny?
No,
I think
the
two
thing
would be
being,
step
somebody named who said his name? Derek Reardon.
Oh, right. You should
Enough said.
see something similar.
I mean,
But can he
these
have your
guys.
life?
It's another.
I just
you
thought I
think
would
he's
take a
another.
gambling
You
with
think he's another Derek Reardon? You mean?
Right.
You can't live your life.
Not just he came for Hibs, he came for Dundee United. We signed Dundee United, we signed Willow Flood. We've tried it with other teams. They've no.
So what do you do? What do you do to improve? Just go down the John Park route of getting young players for
No, you need to finish
anywhere in the
that.
globe.
We need to
Well,
fin-
We've got a good coaching staff to bring through. I'm not convinced that Gary Hooper's going to leave Celtic.
Right. Fair enough.
3-1.
It just depends their attitude. If they want to go
Honestly,
for money, if
I'm
they're
not-
going for
I mean,
money, Richard, that's a different scenario.
if they want to go,
if they want to, if they want to go and win things,
Joe,
straight Celtic.
they must talk in that dressing room. Joe Leather was in an interview in the paper this week saying, "What would I want to get down to the middle in the English Premiership or the bottom of the English Premiership?"
You can be there
And
today.
I'm
yeah.
struggling every year to, you know, when I can play with Celtic,
dear.
get in the Champions League,
Aye.
winning a couple of trophies. That's when I'm arguing about, what do you call him? Alan Shearer. For years I always argued about Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer never went to Manchester United. He
Where's
won.
the medal?
I see
He
what you're
won
saying.
absolutely nothing with
Aye.
Newcastle. Absolutely Newcastle. And
But
see
see,
when
bear
it,
in mind at the time he signed to Newcastle runners up in the league. They were, they were the top. It was Man United, Newcastle, and he was a hometown boy.
Right.
So you can understand. It's a slightly different thing with Ledley.
Stephen, who's a better player? Who would you say was a better player? Steven Gerrard or Paul Scholes?
Scholes.
Because he's won more medals.
No.
Who would you say is a better player? Steven Gerrard or Phil Neville?
It's no comparison, isn't it?
Gary Neville even. You know what I mean? These guys have won trophies. These guys have went to a team that's won trophies.
Right.
Steven Gerrard's stayed in a team. It's like the old Paul McStay scenario if you want to go back years ago. Paul McStay had a chance to go to Manchester United at the time. Never went.
That's right.
Never went.
But just in case there's any Richards in-laws listening to this, Steven Gerrard did fanny on a European Cup winner's medal.
Aye. I bet he had the chance to go to Chelsea. He had the chance to go to Chelsea, Johnny, and he bottled it. He said, no.
He could have won league title.
He could have won league titles. He could have done whatever with Chelsea.
Right.
Because they won trophies every year. Chelsea, you go to give them the
Chelsea are
due.
one of the most successful clubs in Europe.
You go to give them the due. They won a trophy a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Steven Gerrard had that. But when it all comes down to it, Steven Gerrard's probably won one FA Cup. He's won a European Cup. I don't know what else he's won. You know what I mean? Maybe a UEFA Cup, I don't know.
He's not won the Championship.
He's not won the English Premiership, he's not won anything like that.
Aye.
And when the record books are looked at,
Yes. Aye. I see what you're saying.
and they look at Gary Neville,
How he
what
judges
he's won,
players. Aye.
and they look at Steven Gerrard, what he's won,
Yep.
I'm talking about a generation like your Thomas generation, they'll say, who's a better player there?
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Looking back at books. Okay, fair enough. Right, what were your experiences this year? What was your best away game? Is there anyone that pops out for you? Whether it's
Johnny's been
European,
away
whether
game.
it's domestic,
Johnny's away.
whatever you
He's a away
fancy.
person. Not Johnny.
Johnny boy, on your travels, what's been your best?
I've not missed any, but what I will say, I was at Dens Park
Right.
on the day of
The Dens Park riots. You're not going to bring that night up.
The riots.
When you were scared,
Was that you? Was that
Scarred
you,
for
basically,
life.
aye?
running battles.
And honestly, and
It was riots in the street that arrested no people.
but the big copper says to me, "Use Ouija's know how to celebrate your Christmas time and that." I says, "Aye, all the best to you, big man. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas." And we get in the turnstile and there was a load of singing, which was louder than normal being.
Right.
It was
Time of the year.
Aye.
Time of the game, I know.
For what? Guys like John Hartson was one of them. And
Aye.
radio commentaries and my wife phoning me and I'm going down the road
Are
saying,
you alright?
"Are you alright?"
Have you been arrested or
I says, "I'm
stopped?
in the back of Dead Slaves more, how am I no alright?"
Well, to be honest, Johnny, you've just said that there in the one sentence.
Aye,
If you're in the back of Dead Slaves more. That is a problem.
So the way it was portrayed in the media, it was like downtown Baghdad,
It
you
was
know? It was,
absolutely nothing happened.
Total
No, honestly,
nonsense.
I mean,
Aye.
I've been with Brian and Peter
Aye.
and I've seen
hard work.
Tainsworth.
Again,
Aye,
just bringing up bad
I don't know
characters.
even between the actual.
Can I just say, not directly was involved.
No. You just happen to be there.
Like places listening to us, but we're not here.
No, I mean, we stood and watched the Hampden riot.
We did.
And we're free as sitting, arms crossed, and watched
Look
it.
at easy.
And
It's unbelievable.
So what about Celtic performance away? What's your
Well,
best kind
I
of
think
match
that
you've
might have
watched
been,
away?
that's actually got to be in the house, sitting in the house when Big Sammy put the
Oh,
header in.
okay.
And that was
That against
Moscow.
Brilliant.
That
That was
great.
special. I mean, for
That was a
Celtic-
special night. Aye.
So the
to
sweet
get the victory.
Aye. Something
Aye.
else for a Celtic fan when
Aye.
it comes to European away games. Brian, best atmosphere you were at this year? Is it too easy saying Barca? Well, we pick
Too
one
easy,
underneath.
isn't it?
Right, so take him out of the picture. What's the second best?
Second best, I would say, is. I would say, what do you call it? The Spartak Moscow, when we realised we're through.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
The crowd's all on board with it all. Aye.
See, now that Aberdeen game John mentioned earlier, right? That
The
was the day.
turnaround.
It was Big Dougie's 40th that day.
Yes, that's right. He
So we were all
just went
down
in
the
on
stairs and
tour.
that.
Aye.
We bet, you call him Mulgrew to score at any time in the game. I mean, he scored.
Forget it.
We're not bothered about the rest of the score. He scored, that was us. We went up for a carry.
Let's wrap up.
Carry out for a way.
So it's a taxi here in the right instead of a train.
That was like kind of well organised, you know what I mean? That was a great day, you know what I mean? But
Brilliant.
that, to me, in Parkhead this season, that was the best atmosphere at the end of the game.
Right.
That Aberdeen game.
Right, okay.
Right, but apart from Europe.
Sure. Stephen, playing wise, best Celtic performance you've seen? And that's footballing wise, not just the stats or the numbers or the goals.
Numbers
When
and
you
stats.
thought we were on the money and we just clicked.
Richard, that's the wrong question to ask him. He sits and starts.
know.
He's a start man.
I'm the Stato. I don't know, I thoroughly enjoyed their performance. It's too easy to say against Barcelona. I was never as proud to see a Celtic team in my life. 11 guys that played that night, or the 13 guys or 14 guys that played that night, they just ran their hearts out, they ran their guts in. Even in the new camp as well, when we had the disappointment. Very unlucky.
Very true.
The fullback Alba scored, wasn't it? Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba.
It was just incredible. So proud actually to see the guys. So proud to see them actually, because professional footballers get a bad reputation for that. They're just money and they're just this and they're out getting pissed and everything like that, all the negatives. But that was just such a positive just to see that, and it's something that I'll take to the grave with me. It's just, it was
magic.
The atmosphere for the energy that was in the crowd that night, and the way that these guys played that night was just
That's one of your
it's
memories,
the best. It's the best. Probably outside Seville, it was the best experience I've ever seen being with Celtic. Definitely.
We were talking about Seville today.
10 years. 10 years.
We're not going to go down that road because we've got something burning in the background. They might be going there. Peter, wrap us up. Let's how's the club going next year? What's lies ahead in the shambolic future?
Well, hopefully, we're not going to increase a hell of a numbers. We know that. We're going to have the same club. We never leave, we've still got a great atmosphere in the bus. Great guys in the bus. A lot of kids coming through now.
Yes, very true, aye. The Carluke Young team were mixing it with Tandoori Tony today.
Yes,
we've got pictures on Twitter.
That boy!
The shambolic Young team of the photos of
You're joking!
So it's onwards and upwards then?
Onwards and
Is that on the Facebook?
Aye, it's on Twitter.
This club will never change. I mean, we're not the biggest club in the world, you know that, but
We're still after him.
we're still daft. Aye, we are. But that's what's good about us, I mean, we're not all the same. We're all different characters, and we all have our moments, you know what I mean?
The thing is, everybody's got the same passion and the same love for Celtic, and that's
it.
Steve, what it's here for.
Definitely.
When we go to games, it's more a social thing with us. As a social thing with us, we're a social club. I mean, that's what we are. We're all daft. We're all for heat.
You'll drink to that. Brilliant, guys. Well, for this season, for the double, thanks very much. And hail. Right, Tic Talk has pulled another panel out of this shambolic evening. If I take out the bodies round the table, there's 5. If I take out the glasses of alcohol round the table, I think there's about 14 in.
These are 3 on.
Honestly good, boys. Right, so round the desk we have
Martin. Luigi. Vincenzo. Mr. C.
David.
Good boy, lads. Welcome. So, Luigi, done the double. Were you worried at all before today, or were you ultra confident?
Worried a wee bit.
Right.
I did predict 3-0. But I didn't bet it.
You never bet it?
Big comments.
Oh,
Score every time. No. I said the score is 3-4-0.
What was worrying you before it? Was it Celtic, or was it
I just think
Hibs doing something?
Celtic's put their kind of the big top guns in the last couple of games.
Right.
They've rested players and that same. And hopefully that's a team for Europe next year.
Right.
So I was quite. And Hibs played well today.
Aye. Done their part.
Did their part, aye. Yep.
Davey boy, pleased with the performance, pleased with the result. How did you see the day overall?
I was pleased with the performance. Done really well. Yet again, it's another Scottish Cup in the bag.
36.
But I'm also a big fan of Scottish football. I think it's time for a change. We maybe need other teams to maybe win a trophy or two to keep the interest and get the crowds up. We need a bit of competitivism in the league.
Oh, here. That's a hashtag. So you, but then St Mirren,
And I'm also
back
glad
their
to see
trophy.
that was Paddy McCourt's last game, which I'm really pleased about.
Aye, past the band. Aye, past the band. We don't know where he's going, but he's kind of came to the end of the road. Oh, sorry, he's convinced.
Our Kieran says Motherwell, and this is I can see them at Motherwell singing Paddy McCord, Finian,
It's still going to harm, is it?
Aye.
It's still going to harm.
That's not happening.
Right, Vincenzo, we've done the double. Has it been enough? Has it been a good season for you? An outstanding season? Average? Where are we going?
I think it's been a fantastic season. Absolutely brilliant. Like Davey, I'm quite liking the competitiveness in the business.
He's a basket. He's a basket.
No, but I agree.
He's only kidding on, can't he say it?
I like to see
These other
Murray
teams.
winning a cup, and
Aye.
although it was Sayre last year and Kilmarnock, it's good, and it's good for Scottish football. So aye.
And we've took a few kickings this season.
Aye, and that's not a bad thing. So I think we just need to learn that, in actual fact, we're not going to roll the roost for every single game. And how boring would it be if we did? Do you know what I mean?
Some would say Armageddon.
Oh,
some would say
surely not.
If it was just as easy as that. If any listeners can spell that, there is a prize. Mr. C, your standout men overall this season, not just today, we're talking about the whole season. Your top three guys.
Joe Ledley's number one.
Joe Ledley.
Okay. I've got a great love for Joe Ledley.
All right,
for what he's done.
There's a reason for it.
Well,
I stole one now.
I took a drink at the wrong time.
no, you see, the thing is with you lot, at my age I'm allowed this.
Oh, right, okay.
It's
It's
unrequited
got
love.
completely different meanings to what you talk about.
These filthy youngsters.
And there was a great moment in the game today where the goalkeeper made that great save, right?
First 10 minutes.
Aye, first 10 minutes.
Aye.
And I think that's been a telling factor in the last two seasons with us.
Right.
We have won big games when he's made saves like that.
So is he in? Is that number two then? Is it
Well,
Foster in
I don't think he's had a great season this year.
Right.
But
those
the man
moments.
is making these saves, and I've got to give him that for the day and things.
Okay.
I think he pulled it today.
Okay. Who else would you pull in there then for number three?
My belly for Scottish Collins, no?
Pull in my belly.
Actually, when you look there, I thought about the camera.
It's not a video cast, you're on this. Relax.
Collins has done his bit, and it's things. I look for different things,
Right.
Stokes was great, wasn't it?
He was man of the match.
Good today.
Two cracking crosses. Yep.
I think Mike McAllister's been good coming in for my young Welsh pal.
My young Welsh pal.
Your man lover.
The boy Matthews, aye.
Right, nice one.
There's a lot of things like that.
Aye.
A lot of things.
Can I just ask, is he capital C and he's lowercase c?
That's correct, yes, and we're going to lowercase c now. So, Martin, lowercase c. Yeah, let's pull away for players. Give me your top three games.
Top three games. Are you talking league? Can you go Champions League?
Full season. You've got it all at your.
Well, the obvious one pops out is the Barcelona.
Okay.
That'll be a top game for a long time.
Right.
I'll try and pick one for the league, because I don't want to go Champions League, but they're the ones that stand out.
Sure.
One game I particularly liked was the Aberdeen game.
Right.
When they were getting beat. And they came back and when his weird permutations came through. 4-3 and Samaras scoring that overhead kick. That was an exciting game as well.
That was brilliant.
The cup final today.
Aye,
that was a good
Pleased
game
with
as
that.
well. Aye.
Yep.
Watched the Champions League last night.
Yes, we did.
It was a cracking game, and then we got the cup final today, and we're sitting there going, it's not the same as last night, but it was a good game.
Aye.
Celtic played well. First 10 minutes, Hibs were up for it.
Yep.
But then after Celtic scored, there was only going to be one winner really, and they just turned the screw and just
brought the double home. Superb. Davey boy, Martin mentioned the Aberdeen game there. You got a story for us?
Outstanding.
An outstanding story.
My big mate's 40th that day, Dougie Mooney. Namesake is Vincent.
Yes.
The chains on Mooney there.
Mooney's.
Went upgraded their tickets to get into his Vesters lounge. The wee swallow in the way in. As you do. Me as usual, I was a wee bit more than everybody else.
No
way. So it was a wee in it, and I'm looking at the thing and The lassies at Ladbrokes County and the Vessel is a special offer. Charlie Mulgrew score any time 72.
Right.
So I come back and says to the boys, we're putting a tank in this. I'm like, no way, Dave, you know what you're like.
For listeners in Taiwan and Canada, what's a tank?
Every penny you've got.
There you go. Okay, listeners, you're on board.
Every penny everybody else's go with David.
So I'm like, no way. And I knew I was onto a good thing when Kevin, my colleague, gave me a 10 spot.
Oh,
he would never part the cash, this guy.
No chance.
This is the same guy that get mixed up with...
Oh, I don't know if this is broadcast.
Tic Talk lawyers are listening.
I can't broadcast this.
Right, back to the story.
This was a fillet, embarrassing everything. Anyway. So I said to all the boys, and everybody gave me their tenors.
Right.
I'm going to mention, gave my call, left the Investors Lounge, went back up to sit in the North Stand below the Investors Lounge.
Charging the flag, of course.
Great game. Charlie Mulgrew scores to make it 3 each.
There you go.
Kevin McCauley's hanging over the tier. My dad a tenner on that. Unbelievable. I missed the 4th goal because I went to collect the cash. I go, oh yeah.
Was it somebody else in the party had £1 on 4 Street at 150 to 1?
To be honest, do you know stick £1 on every possible result
to be
going?
fair, it cost me 150.
He's doing about £100,000.
Right, Luigi, the boys have spoke about Europe.
Yeah.
And how that's been a big highlight this season. What's happening next season?
I hope for the same again.
Are we going to carry on? Have we got the strength to do that? Are we...
I think they have. Depends what kind of draw you're going to get. I think it was kind to us last year.
Seeded 3 levels to go through it, but you know.
I mean, it was kind.
In fact, let me ask you this, right, because Peter was talking about this earlier. Do you want to see him again in regards to Champions League as far as you can go? Or are you one of these guys that let's break away into European League and try and get a longer run? Or,
I think Champions League.
Well, here's the question.
I would take a last 16 again.
Here's the question. Last 16 or a Europa final? See, I'd take a final.
I don't know because I never imagine the finals when I go.
No, you were quite bad in some. He missed it. The final means nothing to him.
I'm still paying my credit card. You like good stories. We're watching the cup final the day. A few of my mates says to me, oh, would you go back 10 years to Seville, Dave? I says, no, because I'm still paying my credit card back. Because when I left to go,
bad interest rate.
when I left to go to Seville, I had a few bob on me, about £400, a few euros. And when I left, my wife says to me, they're a credit card, there's £1,000 in that.
Oh, jeez.
Watch what you're doing. Well, sure she did, they're longer. So I left to go to the game and I come back. I had a great 6 days away in Seville.
You don't remember it?
When I went to buy my wife and my boys a wee present perfume, the card get declined in the way home.
Can I ask you a question? Why are you buying the boys' perfume?
It's either that or real chippos. You see this David the way he's cutting about these days? 17 now, he's the only guy I know. Because he thought skinny jeans were stones.
Oh my God.
What chance you go?
Right, Vincenzo, let's go for...
Let me bring it back.
I'm going to flip the sides, go for good to bad, right? Put your pessimistic hat on. Who's possibly leaving?
Who's leaving, right? I think...
David.
I think Hooper will go. I've got a funny feeling Wanyama will go.
Right.
And my dark horse would be Forster, maybe.
Inside information.
But I'm alright with it.
You okay with that? You're happy with that?
I'm alright.
Is this a big money deal for Wanyama? Is that what you see?
I just think if there's one player that's going to go in a big money deal, it'll be Wanyama.
Right.
He might not go, obviously it depends who comes in.
Aye, sure.
I've got a funny feeling he'll go. I think Hooper's already kind of made his mind up.
Right.
A few
Is everybody agreeing with Hooper? Does anybody think he might be staying?
Aye, but problematic fell his boots today was, I don't know if everybody seen it at the end of the game, was Lee Griffiths coming right up to the Celtic fans and up to the Celtic team.
Oh, did he?
And applauding them all. So I don't know if that was a wee hand.
It's not good enough.
I've talked about Lee Griffiths today, and he's a good enough player to play for Celtic, but I don't think he's Celtic.
Right. Kind of character-wise.
I don't like people like that.
Okay.
I'm old-fashioned.
He's old-fashioned.
It's not got a Celtic.
Nah, you're right, Jim.
Can I put a word on it? Can I put a word on
Can't
it?
put his finger on it. Can't put his finger on it.
Can he? There's something about him.
Obviously, you don't fancy him as much.
He's not as good like Joe Lennon.
David could have bought perfume.
That's not funny.
I could have got stones before.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Griffiths isn't
It
big
could
enough
turn
to take the
out I'd be
Champions
wrong,
League.
but
Right.
I just don't want to go. I mean,
I
no,
disagree, David.
I like to listen to players like some of us were there and we heard John Hartson talking about Celtic the other weekend.
Right.
And I've never heard somebody
Would you like eating the
with a
bar?
heart.
Right.
You know, and I'm looking for somebody that's a nice guy.
Right.
John Hartson was supposed to not being a great guy,
Uh-huh.
but
So you've just talked yourself out then?
he turned himself. He
Right.
became a Celtic man. Lee Griffiths became a Celtic man.
Everybody does when they come to Celtic. We
Aye.
don't have it.
They come on board with
Lee Griffiths is good, you know. He's too much of his own that.
it. Backside.
Davey boy. For a wee minute here. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but see the draw for the Champions League, the two games, the two preliminary rounds we need to play before we play the major game to get into the Champions League. If the draw's right to suit Celtic, Gary Hooper maybe stay and fancy another crack at the Champions
Right,
League.
okay. Right, okay.
Depends who comes in for Hooper, but, you know,
It's one of those ones. Who comes a
depends
calling?
who comes in.
Aye.
We would have
How
to
much
boil
money?
it. We would have to boil.
You don't want to go to Norwich and spend your rest 6 months
What
getting
age is he?
into
What age is
canals.
Hooper? What age is he? About 24?
He's young.
Younger?
It's very
So
good.
he's not peaked yet.
I think
He peaked
what
at
you're saying about
27,
is
so...
And then get a big deal.
at the start of the year, it turned January and everything like that, I thought, Hooper's off.
Right.
Attitude.
You seen it at that time?
Attitude. When Yama's off,
Right.
he's supposed to have spoke to Sir Alec. But and I thought the way they were going about was
Uh-huh.
they were off.
Uh-huh.
But then umpteen times since then,
Uh-huh.
Hooper's suddenly done it again.
Aye.
You know?
Yes.
And
You're right, Jim.
and not just the goals today. The guy done an awful lot.
Can I make you talk about Hooper? It's just I always thought Stokes was a better player than the two of them were. 2 or 3 years ago. That's just. I've seen
But
a
the two of them are-
lot more than Stokes, and I think Stokes proved that today. I mean, his first touch today was
Oh.
amazing. He set the goals up.
Aye.
He's not the goal scorer, he's not the poacher,
He's more
but actually he's probably a better all-round player.
Right.
Although in saying that, Hooper in Europe this year
Well,
was starting to play that. You know, we all thought he couldn't play up front himself, and he did it a couple of times and actually did it quite well.
yep.
So, actually, but I think I would be quite confident about replacing Hooper.
Right.
If we get a decent offer for Hooper, I think his mind's, it seems to be made up, but maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he's just holding out for a better deal. I wouldn't be devastated, but I feel like...
Right, it's one of those ones.
Hooper's more potential than selling on because it's not a finished article yet, and that's the thing.
Right.
Can he get any further forward in Celtic, apart from the Champions League?
They're not the Champions League in the Premiership.
Gary Hooper's goal he scored against, is it Spartak Moscow? Was absolutely superb.
Right. Let's pick up your goals then. Full season, best goals. That's one that sticks out in Davy's mind there. Any other classics that you really loved?
Barcelona were Tony Watt must have.
Tony Watt? Oh, see
Not just
that.
because it's Barcelona, but just
The full thing, the emotion and the atmosphere.
that was class.
Yep. Any others popping into your heads as we think about it? Any cracking free kicks, etc.?
Well, Charlie had a couple.
He had a couple of good free kicks.
Not as many as he should have had. Gareth Bale could do every bloody week. Why doesn't Charlie McGrew do every week?
That was a
Chris
big
Commons.
It's not Maras overhead kicker or.
Oh, yes, good shout.
Any
Good
goal
shout.
for Sammy.
4-3 against Aberdeen.
Aye.
Already their money for wouldn't care about the result with a
You
few
wouldn't
ball in
care?
their tail.
Once you had your goal, that was you.
That was his 5th goal of the season.
It's mental, isn't it?
5th. I've read an article today with George Cadet. He's been scoring 20 in a Celtic jersey. And it's right.
But he's a winger.
But he's
Like
more-
Sammy's a
he's more
winger.
forward, that's it.
Where did Sammy score his goals?
I love Samaras.
Europe.
At what games did Sammy score his
Aye.
goals?
Mr. Europe.
You know, 5 goals. If you said 5 goals,
Aye.
no, that was 5. Must have been 5
Big goals,
games.
aye, big goals.
That's all I can remember him scoring.
Aye.
Goals in games.
Aye, what was the header Samaras scored?
Spartak,
Spartak.
From Moscow.
That
Right.
was a
and
great
then he
goal.
scored in Benfica as well.
I scored them.
And if you
Lisbon.
If you take it back to a season, 2 seasons ago, my mind's away with it. When we qualified through a game in Russia, Big Sammy scored a goal.
That's the one he's talking about.
That's the very one.
No, but no, that's season.
That was Paul
Oh,
Hartley.
sorry, you're getting right, okay.
That was Paul Hartley that scored the goal in Moscow.
The one Big Sammy scored.
Is Hartley Norway?
It's hardly Norway.
Big Sammy scored.
I'm just correcting Jim. Jim's back here.
You go back.
Too
Big
far
Sammy
back
scored a
yesterday.
goal because I was in Glasgow Airport and the bar waiting to leave Glasgow
weren't in the
Airport,
bar.
watching the football, and Big Sammy scored. And there's 2 years jumped up.
Jim says, Jim went like, fuck, I missed my flight.
Last goal for Mr. C.
He scored and we were in the game.
Vincenzo, bring it back to Carluke now. Best shambolic truck. Best shambolic bus. What's their funniest moments? Maybe in the bowling clubs or wherever. Is a weekend. Get some belters on. Oh no. Remember the TikTok lawyers are listening, Davey boy? What's been
I'm never out.
Are you never at the pub?
I'll just be back on if I change the way.
No, give your memory.
What's been the good moments?
Well, David, we'll work with you.
Obviously, you spoke about the Dougie Mooney Day, as we call it. You know, the Eastie Beastie came through from the capital city.
Hey, my birthday, not mine.
Your birthday, was this right? It was Mr. C's birthday, right? It was a joint celebration.
You take a prick with it.
Oh,
sorry, Jim.
Oh, dearie. This isn't the way to end a good season. Infighting.
That was a low blow.
I'm sorry, David's no longer available. Bus stories. Mine, we went to Leon in the bus. Can you back as far as that?
Right, okay, I'll let you skip
the
that.
game last.
It's a day for celebrating and reminiscing.
We ended up, we booked this bus for Glasgow.
Right.
I can't remember the name of the pub, but we all goes in this bus and we were picking up at Volvo service stations. So we had about 3-4 slabs of beer and a case of Buckfast. The bus came to pick us up.
Mate, you can't drink the buses too.
The bus came to pick us up, and the bus came here to get off the bus, such and such, David Mooney, Peter Conley, Dougie Mooney. And he's like, what's that? He says, you're not allowed to take any drink in the bus. He says, we paid for an extra seat.
Oh, yeah, chancer. Total chancer. Hey, boys, well, champions and double winners, thanks a million for your time and all your input in the podcast this season. And hail, hail.
Yeah.
Right, Tic Talk has grabbed another wee panel out of this shambolic night in Carluke. Around the table we have
Brian,
Dougie,
Stephen, Kieran.
fantastic. Now, Stephen, just before we had that fabulous raffle there with the Celtic prizes, we had a song on the DJ, Sunshine on Leith. A strange selection for a Celtic night, but it turns out it's to help your good lady commiserate on her evening. She, of course, being a Hibby. She's enjoying herself tonight with us, and she was at the match with you today. Can you confirm that, first of all?
I can confirm that, Richard, yes.
Can you now confirm whereabouts on the ground you were today?
I was in the North Stand today, Richard.
And what side would that be on?
That was the stand opposite the South Stand.
Was it where most of the Hibbies were?
No, it was 50-50, Hibs and Celtic.
Do you
need me to be more specific here, do you? Yes, I was in the Hibs end today, yes.
Brilliant. Enjoyed the day with your good lady?
Yeah, it was different
and
yeah.
So how did you cope with the goals? Were you sitting in your hands?
It was surreal. No, none at all. It was just bizarre. It was it was really quite strange. Obviously Hibs fans were standing, probably the same as all the Celtic fans were, but
it
was just a weird experience.
Aye.
You know, sometimes when you've been when you go to away games and the ball hits the net and there's that delay of the wall of noise hitting you. Well, I had that in reverse today. I had that obviously being the wrong end, and then hearing that coming towards me for the Celtic fans.
But being happy about it.
But being happy about
That
it,
is
so that was quite bizarre.
What was your reaction? Did you?
No, I didn't move a muscle at all.
Not for any of the goals.
No,
And that must be another bizarre
I wasn't sure of the company. Obviously, my wife was fine, but I wasn't sure of some of the boys.
So she never ratted you out?
No, not at all. No.
Which could have been dodgy.
Which could have been interesting.
If you never done the dishes or something.
Watching the Hibs end, there's happened loads of stories and witnessed loads of stuff.
Aye.
I sat. The last time I was in the Hibs end was, remember a couple of seasons back, we were going for the league and we went to Easter Road, the second last game of the season, and I think we drew nothing each.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Oh, were you talking about that? And I was in the Hibs end that day, and we were definitely outed, and it was very, very, very uncomfortable.
Right.
Because that's what just before we started recording, Dougie had said he was feeling a wee bit sorry, and I said, well, I can understand that because you've got lots of friends that are Hibs fans.
Yes, sir, Dougie, through from the east, from the capital.
Yes.
It was that game that you're talking about. They were singing. Hibs fans are singing, "We'll F up your title."
Aye, that's
We're going to F up your title. And so I'm like, well, what goes
No
around comes around.
Aye. I did think there was a really good atmosphere, though. Like we were talking there as well about the Hibs players kind of doing their half lap honour and the Celtic fans applauding them, and the Hibs fans, the Hibs players applauding into the Celtic fans as well. So there was quite a decent kind of spirit, I thought, today. It was great seeing Hampden all green as well, obviously.
The way it should be.
Well, I had Aidan, Michael and Declan Siobhan at the game.
And a crutch.
And a
crutch, I've seen that.
And Declan said to me before the game, I think that will be his first Celtic Hibs final, and he said before the game he's like, wow, he's like, this is great, Hampden's all green. He's like, this is amazing.
This is a dream.
I think he was quite taken with it. And then they obviously had the guys kind of with these kind of big blimp things with the Celtic flag hanging from it.
Yes,
and then running across the pitch with the green and white.
I was worried for a couple of games.
The guy looks like he's going to take off. And he's shouting to the guy next to him, give me a hand before I take off. And you can see the wee guy running for the side of the park to grab a hold of his mate before his mate ended up getting up with a balloon.
Fully his fault.
As if we went into one of the bouncing burners as well, man. A Zeppelin.
Brilliant.
Bouncing burners. I don't think about bouncing burners. Bouncing burners.
A science experiment going on before the game there, Roger.
What are you doing with that?
Right. There's no bouncing burner.
It just is, Dave. Right, let's cap off the Hibs connection, right? You've got loads of Hibbies pals through in the east.
That's right.
You were chatting to us before there, none of them really expecting much?
They weren't really. They were kind of looking back at Celtic's kind of recent record at Hampden and saying we might have a chance, but they were. I actually heard a wee rumour last week that Lee Griffiths was didn't he train a couple of days last week as well?
Do you know he did play as if he hadn't trained?
He wasn't fit today. There was a couple of times he went in for, the ball had gone to him and he was down and he was holding his ankle and he didn't look fit to me at all.
He did jar his knee at one point,
the one that bothered about McPake not making the game.
Was they not? Right.
A few of them, I don't think they take too kindly to him at times.
He's a mad Tim as well.
That's probably why then.
But they were turning up. They were going for it. You could see they brought a really good support through. I thought.
Definitely. Yep.
Well, they woke up in the second half. After 2 hours singing, they decided to start singing again, and then just kept it going at the rest of the game. But so
okay. From the Celtic end, were any of yous worried before? Were yous all confident?
Before the game started?
Aye, the build up to the game.
I thought I think we spoke about this before. If Celtic turned up, there was only one winner.
Okay.
And my only concern was whether Celtic would turn up or not.
Right.
And based on recent performances at Hampden. And I have to say, the first 10 minutes, or the first 7 or 8 minutes, I thought, We need to get a grip here early on.
How big a save for Fraser?
Great save as well.
After 3 minutes, it's a whole different game if that
Doyle
ball goes in.
Doyle's
Doyle's. But when Celtic scored, there was only one winner, and not because we had went ahead, but because it settled us in the way we played up thereafter.
Right, okay.
Scored against the run of play as well.
Totally scored against the run. It was our first
time
we were in their pitch, half of the pitch.
What did Thompson look like? Because they were trying to have there seemed to be a wee bit going on between him and Scott Brown.
Kevin Thompson, best mates.
So you seen them challenging, and then you saw after it they're up, kind of shaking each other.
Well, they're best mates. They always have been for years. Even if you see in a Celtic Rangers game was where the two again played, they were the same in those games, talking to each other during the games.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Dougie, because certainly within the Hibs section that I was in, the Hibs supporters were really unhappy with Thompson, thinking that he was actually holding back in Brown because of his friendship. Because I do remember that incident you mentioned where they ended up kind of cuddling each other, and the boys round about me were going ballistic at that.
Oh, were they?
Aye, not happy at all.
Oh dear.
So.
Did you have any mock outrage? Were you trying to pretend you were a Hibby? No? Did you do that? Cover your tracks? Aye, you're fiending, aye.
No, I didn't go that
Didn't go that, there's a line. Brilliant. Now, I've got two Macaulay brothers here. One at the match, one on this occasion, and we was watching the television. Let's try and see if there's a wee angle here with television and being at the match. Give me your top 3 players in your own eyes, from your own perspectives, Kieran, from being at the match.
Number 1 was, they definitely got it right with man of the match, was Anthony Stokes. I thought he did a great game, made the 2 goals. Gary Hooper, clinical in front of goal. You can't argue with he's had 2 chances, stuck the 2 of them away.
Yep.
And then I think after they get the first goal, Scott Brown really settled into the middle of the park and started to kind of take control of it.
Right.
Came a wee bit deeper and started taking control of the ball and making passes.
Right.
Yeah, so I would say that
go those 3.
Those were the.
He didn't have much pressure, did he? I don't think he had much pressure.
I'll get your guys in a minute. So, television perspective, Brian. What would you pick out?
Stokes, number 1.
You'd go with that, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
I know he set up directly the first 2 goals with crosses, but he also had a big part in the 3rd goal.
Right.
He played the ball down the line for the cross to come over, and all round play it looked to be excellent. You do get a different view on the TV, so you do see
I am quite interested.
I would say I would have number 2 Scott Brown. Thought he bossed the game from when Celtic scored for the remainder of the game. He was his man. Best man in midfield, controlled the game, controlled the tempo of the game, stopped a lot of the Hibs midfield play, as well as helping break forward.
Okay.
And 3rd would, I know Hooper scored 2 goals, but I think I would go with Commons.
Right, okay.
I thought Commons rarely plays well at Hampden, apart from his debut game out there. But I thought he played well today, and he created a lot of space for himself, and had Hibs all over the place.
Right.
It seemed to me that they didn't know how to deal with him, because he was playing a bit behind the front 2, and they didn't know whether the centre halves to come short or break out to get them, or the midfielder to fall back. They just couldn't pick him up at all.
Right.
And I thought he had a big part in the game, but it's difficult with, obviously Hooper scored 2 goals, his first being a marvellous volley from acute angle. So
excellent, okay. Dougie and Stephen, I'm going to throw the season out to you guys. Your top 3 boys across the whole season. Any differences with what we've just mentioned for today's match? Who's got your 3 in your head? Who's your 3 best Celtic players through the whole season?
I'm going to go with Brian for my player of the season.
You can't pick Brian, not the Celtic players.
Aye, best supporter.
Best supporter.
My player of the season would be Chris Commons.
Right.
I think he's been absolutely magnificent. 18-19 goals for the middle of the park, something like that. And
the amount he set up.
And the amount of assists, I was just going to say,
it just gives a completely different dimension to the Celtic team whenever he's playing.
Totally
miss him when he's not.
Totally agree. And I thought just what Brian's saying there, I thought he actually kind of played almost like a kind of Lubo role today. That kind of free role behind the strikers. Thought he was really, really good.
Right.
Just Touching on today though, man of the match by an absolute country mile was Scott Brown.
There you
I
go.
thought Scott Brown was absolutely immense.
Okay. Did he make your top 3 for the whole season, or has he been out too much?
No, I think he's been out too much.
Right, okay. What's your other 2 spaces?
So I would probably have Commons, I would have Ledley, and I would probably have the goalkeeper as my top 3 this season. Yep.
Okay. Do you get any differences with those 3?
I was going to go for Big Kelvin.
Big Kelvin now, another player mentions that.
Just because he's turned it round.
I would
agree.
And do you think he's going to build on that going forward?
I hope so. He doesn't seem to be holding back, does he? So, and I was going to have Kevin, right?
So Kevin Wilson, your other 2.
Who was I thinking about? Sammy.
Big Samaras, right? Mr. Europe.
Aye. And Commons as well.
And Commons is in there. Brilliant. Now we've been joined by the rebel DJ himself, our Kevin. He was in charge of
It's quite not as rebellious as I would like it to be. There's still women and kids around.
Families are here.
Crane's lad to me all the time when the highlights start. I'm at 10:25, so hopefully we'll get into the women, watch the highlights, and then the songs can really begin.
His name's Snoop Rebel Pod.
You don't have the famous Rebel Pod from Seville with you, do you?
No, that was Mark, one of the Rebel Pod. We're on now, Mark 8 or something like that.
It's a Rebel Pad. Brilliant. Right, Kev, another thing about you, of course, is you're in with your brothers here, and you said a cracking Turin tour. He's headed abroad this season over for the UV game.
Wouldn't say it was cracking.
Well, this is what
we were battling before we were playing at the airport.
A lot of brotherly love, was there?
Macaulay brotherly love punches.
Oh God! Does that tour rack up as one of the memories of the season for you?
No. Lisbon was for us. It was great because Brian wasn't it. To be fair,
I swear.
I've got to say, Turin was the best trip away in Europe this season I've been with Brian. Is
that the only one you've been, Kevin?
And even then, I don't know if it was the top 2, to be honest. Lisbon was magnificent. It coincided, I told you this before, it coincided with a school holiday on the Monday, 2 in-service days, Monday, Tuesday. So I took Declan, 12-year-old, went up to the Stadio Nacional, went up there. He just played in the pitch all day. It was I think it was kind of unseasonably warm because he was up there with a full kit on. He actually came off it looking as if he'd actually played 90 minutes in a normal game. Pinging the ball in. The European Cup was there. The flag was there. It was just a phenomenal trip. It was real good fun. Turin was good in different ways, but we were already out. And we'd Brian drive.
Brian,
that's sad. Couldn't even get us out of Geneva.
Yeah, beauty. We've also discovered that you've got a nervous twitch whenever he drives, man. So when you're going along the motorway and there's 3 lanes and the driver's got a nervous twitch, you tend to sway between lanes.
Oh my God.
I was just trying to keep them awake. See, every time I heard him that from in the back, I would watch in the mirror. And just as it went to his mouth, there would be a wee twitch.
You're a bad
but, I mean, obviously, any time that you're driving in places that you don't know, you use sat-nav and you've got your navigator. Your navigator sitting next to you.
A human navigator.
And the navigator was very, very poor. Very poor. Told me the wrong road 2 or 3 occasions. But we got there in the end.
The navigator was very interested in getting a beer because he couldn't have any, because he had to hire the car, if you remember rightly.
See.
I was a bit twitchy myself.
It's a different twitch.
Drank for 4 hours.
Brilliant. Stephen, you've made a lot of away games this season. What's the ones that stick out in your head? Whether it's for what you were just speaking there, your personal trips and laughs and stuff, or whether it was just the Celtic displays. What's the ones that stick out for you if we look back over this season?
Away games this season.
Any special trips or special games?
Quite enjoyed Tannadice towards the start of the year. Mind the
2-2. 2 each of us.
No, the time we got two players booked for jumping into the crowd. I think Miku scored and
God, Miku, jeez.
Aye, him.
There you go.
So he was on the pitch. No, Miku. Glassad was on the pitch at the end of it.
Aye,
Oh, was he?
noticed that.
I never seen
Aye, suit on, didn't he?
All dressed up.
Right. So
Sorry.
that sticks out in your head.
Aye, it does, aye, but just because you put me on the spot, I'm sure there's others if you can
Have a think, aye. Dougie, you were mentioned by earlier panels. Your 40th birthday. A whole posse heading into Parkhead and stuff.
what a
Do you
day
enjoy
that
that
was.
day?
That was a
Do you
great day.
remember the day?
That was the best comeback this season, wasn't it?
There you go, aye. There's been
overhead kick, Big Sammy, last minute of the game.
Marvellous.
There was
Vinny Mooney, £2 in Celtic to win 4-3, 151.
I saw that, aye. Your name was also brought up during that match about a bet on Mulgrew scoring.
Aye,
You were
Mulgrew
calling
every
down from above. I'm put a tenner on that, remember?
Aye, it was good. Aye, everybody had actually put money out. It was the same as actually. Did any, as a matter of interest, did any put money on the horse last night called Lisbon to win on the 25th of May? And
Whose tip was it?
Whose tip was it? Aye,
No danger.
I put a tenner on it at 3-1 that came in. Robbed home, aye.
Right, there was a
I thought everybody in Scotland, if it was a tin,
I never knew about that.
Certainly was a few in the Thaki had a few quid on it, so.
Magic.
See, just on favourite away game,
Aye.
when you're talking about that, and I remembered this earlier today, the BBC programme was reasonably good in terms of the build-up to the game, and they were showing all the different rounds from all the teams.
So they were,
but
yes, aye.
the game, obviously, we had to replay Arbroath.
Yes.
And that wasn't even at that away game. And it's still my favourite away game of the season. And the reason I say this because it was about -8, right? Kevin went up, took Declan and Siobhan to the game, absolutely freezing. -8. Went to get a pie and missed the goal.
No, it wasn't a pie. I went to the toilet.
Oh, the toilet.
I'm standing in the one of these.
And that's literally, that's not an Edinburgh saying, no, that's literally
one of the wee plastic porta cabin things, and next minute I just served the roar got up and
It was a great goal, wasn't it?
Go this season.
Yes, aye. Well, there you go. That's my next question. The goals that stick out for you. You mentioned Adam Matthews there. Just chip them in whenever. Sammy's for the Aberdeen game, was that?
Aye, Sammy's
Any other ones here?
That was a great day.
Any other special ones? If I say any goals,
Great goals. Tony Watts against Barcelona was just.
Sorry, excuse me, the rebel pod sounds as if it's
yes, you crack on. That's important business.
It was marvellous that Tony Watts goal. So there's been
that got the fans goal of the season, didn't it?
Oh yes, aye, the award ceremony. Aye, that's right.
That was a marvellous goal. Marvellous night.
Okay, games wise, top 3. If I take Barcelona out here, what's your top 3 for this season? Home, away, domestic, Europe, I don't care.
I'll take today's one of them, I would think. Winning another double.
Aye.
It's quite interesting. Me and Kevin were having a chat about it during the week, and Kevin had mentioned that Celtic have only won the double 11 times in our history. And I thought that was a kind of amazing statistic. The fact that 11 times I would have thought Celtic would have done a double more than that.
11 doubles and 3
trebles. Aye, but I would have thought so to win another double, and that was great. So today would be one of them.
Right.
We had a game at Tannadice, which was the cup game, and I think we ended up. Did we win 3-1?
That was when Stephen was talking about.
The cup game. We were sitting behind the goal. I would put that down as one of them because that was always likely to be a hard game.
Right.
And then the other one, the third one, Hearts at Tynecastle, where we absolutely pumped them in the first half.
Oh, that was incredible.
That was great.
Yes. Was that midweek?
That was a midweek. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night.
It was cold.
Celtic had come back off the back of a couple of disappointing results, I'm sure.
Right.
And people were starting to talk. I think we'd been away in the Champions League, and we'd come back and lost a couple of games. And they were going to Tynecastle, and people were talking about Celtic are under pressure, blah blah blah. And they came out and they just blew Hearts off the pitch in the first 20 to 25 minutes.
First goal, do you remember? Sad.
Hearts missed
two sitters, absolute
And
sitters.
Celtic went up the park and Samaran's dinked it right into the back post for Leslie to run in and header, didn't he?
Fraser made a phenomenal double save.
It
was at nothing each still at the time actually, because he opened up quite brightly.
So that would be my 3, I think, but that result at Tynecastle just kind of signified that you think we're in a bad run, but no. See, just now we're just getting warmed up. We're playing Europe now. We're concentrating on what we need to do there.
Sure.
Whenever we get this out of the way.
I quite enjoyed the trip to Ross County in the first couple of weeks of the season.
The one each game.
The one each game.
It was nice. Common scored in the last minute.
It was nice to go to somewhere new and thought to set up.
Novelty.
I sent them an email after that.
Watching, so it was absolutely roasting.
How they welcomed the Celtic fans, their facilities, their pitch, everything about their whole setup, and they responded back to me. They get the catering manager to respond back to me. The guy that services the porter was to respond back. I got about 17 email.
And the chairman, it was actually Jeff Higby was doing every job.
I'm surprised it was born number 9 that day. He was playing as well.
But it was an excellent, it was a good day, and you're right, they were hospitable, and it was a nice setup and beautiful day, the pitch is really good as well. It doesn't look that good towards the end of the season there, but it was an enjoyable day, and then it's nice to go somewhere new. Now we know how Seth Conings feel every second weekend.
One of my favourite games of the year, to go back to that original question, was Moscow away.
Right.
Obviously, I wasn't there,
the
but
big Spartak one.
Absolutely fantastic history, and you kind of get the feeling then actually we're going to have could get a wee run in this group.
But it just shows you
a funny story about that game. I watched that game in Cancun in summer holiday, right?
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting in this bar in the middle of the hotel reception, and I had to go to the bar and I was like, can you put this on? And it was on, I think it was on like Eurosport or ESPN or something. So the wee guy puts on the TV, and Celtic scored. Common scored like within about the first 5 or 6 minutes.
No, it was Hooper scored the first goal, was it not?
Was it Hooper? Was it? So the wee, this about 2 or 3 minutes after Celtic scored the first goal, this boy walks in. He's like, "What's the score, pal?" Scottish guy, and I'm like, 1-0 to Celtic. I was like, "Are you going to sit down?" He fucked off as quick as I could tell him. I'm like, he's a zombie. He's a zombie. As soon as I told him it was 1-0, and you never seen anybody move so quick away. Like, he's like, no, I've just arrived. I'm just going up to my room.
And then he reappeared back down for about 2-1.
And then disappeared again.
Brilliant.
Stephen, other games that stick out for yourself?
We had an unusual experience this season of playing away from home at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, which I remember.
Surely not.
7 seasons.
It was absolutely unbelievable.
We played very well that day.
We played brilliantly, and I remember outside the ground, it was back to the good old days. There was guys outside the ground with money in there, like looking for tickets that day.
3 PM on a Saturday.
It was great.
There was some stat around that. It was the first time
for 7 seasons or something.
Against Livingston.
That's right.
Previous one.
Yeah.
It was the previous, was it?
2005 or something.
So that kind of sticks out as well.
Right, okay.
2-0 was it?
2-0, but it was 2-0 going on 6-0. The way they played, absolutely destroyed them.
First class. Doogie boy, is there any players that have surprised you this season? How kind of well they've done? Like, I like that. I mean, obviously we mentioned Tony Watts there coming out and doing the youthful spirit, but
Kelvin as well.
Yep. So that's a surprise. Any other surprise packages you were pleasantly impressed with?
Thinking through, this is 8th bottle of Magners.
8th bottle of Magners,
Aye, Tony Watt and Kelvin Wilson, mate.
Lustig for me.
Big Lustig.
I didn't fancy him at all when he first came. I thought he's just turned into an outstanding player.
Right.
Confidence now.
Big Lustig.
Aye, and I've got to say about Adam Matthews, we've got 2 cracking right backs, and
what was the reason he missed the final? What was it?
Matthews had
his injured.
Hamstring.
I don't think he'll be at Celtic Park next year.
Now that brings me on to my next pessimistic question. The Welsh guy. Right, what are you saying? Is he off? Is he gone? Is it in the bag?
I think he might be.
Oh, is that why?
I think there will be a few players down. I think Gary Hooper might be away.
Right.
This week or next week. Southampton already.
Talking Twitter tonight, Gary Hooper signed a 4-year contract.
Controversial.
Highest paid player at Celtic.
Brian, I saw that as well. We do have a tendency to put players onto big contracts and then punt them.
Aye, but even if you get a year out of them, it's
No,
going
I
to
agree.
cost
Right,
time.
So I think Gary Hooper's performance today was phenomenal, and I was so willing him to be the first Celtic player to score a hat-trick in the Scottish Cup final since Dixie Deans.
He did a fresh air, didn't he?
He did the third goal. And to be honest, it just showed. I tweeted at the time, I've been heavily critical of him, right? Because in lots of games I've just felt he's been disinterested. But see, when the big games come about, the Champions League games and games that really matter, he's a different player. Right. I think in the telly mentioned, because obviously I didn't go to Hampden today, I managed to maintain my SFA boycott in the Beechwood, which was about 100 yards away. Actually, I thought Kieran was going to criticise me because I managed to get in the stadium to pick up the kids, run up the stairs after the cup presenting the Royal Edinburgh. Anyway, sorry, I diverged. And I look at that and I think that's the player. It was his 29th goal of the season today. See if he showed the same level of interest as he did today and in the Champions League games, he would be breaking 50 goals. Because there's too many games where he looks to me to be going through the motions, and that's my worry. Right, is that he just feels that he'll turn it on when he can be bothered turning it on. Right, okay. I don't particularly like that, to be honest. You're looking for more input. Dougie, is he off? And is anybody else off?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's a controversial one, but did you notice who chucked their shirt in the crowd today?
Was it Gary?
And
but was there no
Scott Brown?
Aye, but he was putting everything in. You're winding
nearly
us
had
up.
the shorts
You're
in the
winding
crowd
us
as well,
up.
did you?
Aye, that was funny. He was kidding. He was about to take his shorts off. That was cool.
Was it Gary put his top in the crowd?
There was
loads of them. Aye.
There was one. I'm sure it was Joe Ledley that threw his boots in right, but he threw his boot that hard that nearly knocked somebody out. He launched it right in the middle in the horse stand. Joe Ledley.
He did that.
With his
I wouldn't be surprised if.
Right, man, I'm going to
see I've
got Irish dancers ready to start.
Oh, what a night! Hail!
I don't think he'll squeeze into that dress.
By the way, Sky Sports breaking news.
Breaking news, please hold.
Independent Sevco inquiry finds no evidence that Celtic won the Scottish Cup today.
Right, is Wanyama staying or going? Dougie boy.
You've heard that he's gone, he's staying. Just wait and see.
You
You can spend all your
Stephen, are you looking for any areas to get filled or added to so we've got competition, etc.?
Centre half, maybe.
Centre half? Just to have cover?
And it all depends on who we lose.
Right,
obviously.
Is that your perspective?
Absolutely.
Right.
And see today in the middle of the park, we've got to be sensible, and we've got to realise that if big money bids come in for these guys, if we get £10 million bid or above for Wanyama, he's got to go. He's got to go. The middle of the park today with Brown and Ledley.
Celtic fans are realistic enough to accept that.
Yeah.
I would say most Celtic fans accept that. I don't have a problem with that as long as they spend a little bit of that money and bringing someone else in. Even if it is a young guy, similar to Wanyama, who not one of us had heard of before he signed.
Exactly.
The one bit of business I'd like to see us doing is I'd like to see us extending Chris Commons' contract.
Right.
I think he's out of contract.
I don't think
in
there's
a year's
any
time.
danger of Chris Commons leaving, and due to his family,
his overall personal
totally
circumstances and the fact that he withdrew from international duty to specifically to concentrate on playing for Celtic and his family. And I think he's been the fulcrum of the side this season. I think he's crucially important to us, and I would really like to see him getting a new 3-year or possibly even 4-year contract.
Right. What age is he though?
He's only 29, and I would like to see him finishing his career at Celtic. But I think that would be a pretty key bit of business for us this season.
We're going to finish his career, but I think he will be here for the foreseeable future. I think he's one of the players that will actually settle. There's a fair chance he'll settle in Scotland after his career finishes.
Oh,
I
right,
think
right,
it's-
once it's- okay.
His family seem as settled as that.
Aye. Okay. Let me ask you about Europe. There seems to be kind of two camps, where there's one camp who just wants Champions League as much as possible, as high as possible, because it's a top table, etc. And there's another camp where I go about the Champions League, but to be honest, I want to drop into Europa League to go as long as possible and to have a better chance as possible of an actual trophy or a final.
Champions League.
Where do you Champions League, Dougie?
Champions League.
Champions League. Stephen?
I'd love us to get another final.
Right.
Champions League.
I would. Looking at
you like that thinking?
I know what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. It's a place to be, and it's where you want to be playing your football. However, I think with a bit of fortune this season, we could have got to the Europa Cup final.
Right. Okay.
And
I think
never
with a little bit of fortune, we could have got to the last 8
of the Champions League.
Aye. And
do that next
well, you look at the
with
Juve,
a better draw against.
No, not even a better draw. You look at the Juve game at home. That was never a 3-0 defeat for Celtic. We missed some chances, and we had 2 ridiculous defensive mistakes to take it to 2-0. So you cut out the mistakes and you take some of your chances, and it's a different story. And you're going over there, but we're the better team in Turin as well.
Did you listen to the Homeboys podcast, the Monday night one?
No, I've not heard that yet.
They're talking about Seville and the trip, and
see.
It's all that kind of stuff. It's all the stuff that surrounds the game, not just the game. And the
aye.
To get to that position again would be
right.
Of course, it would be great, but I think you need to do is we should be aiming to achieve as much as we can in the competitions
at the highest level
in the competitions.
Kieran, what camp would you fall into?
UEFA.
Aye.
Yep.
Goes kind of long as possible.
Take money out of the group stages of Champions League and get to another.
So it's that nice split.
Get to another European final, because
okay.
That run is one of the
best
best experiences of my Celtic supporting life.
Well, it's my best experience, not one of. It's the best experience I've had, and there was a lot of other things around that.
Yeah.
However, that's not going to be repeated for any of us. That was Seville. That was a one-off. Now, I know what you're saying with a little bit of luck in anything that you could get anywhere. Look at the teams that contested Chelsea, the semi-finals. If you look at the semi-finals, the UEFA Cup, really, really strong teams. Really strong teams. And I know Benfica are there, whom we knocked out of Europe through the group stages, but had that been a home and away, they beat us. I know it was in a different circumstances, but I just think it's not automatic that you get to a UEFA Cup final if you get knocked out of the group stages.
Understood.
I think you need a big bit of luck.
I can agree, because even before we started the Champions League campaign, you're thinking, no, you're a wee bit worried, but you're wanting to pit your wits against the best.
Just
and the Champions League's the best, and you want to see where you sit in the football world. You say, well, how good are we against these best teams, supposed best teams in the world?
Right.
Look what the tactics Juve had to resort to against us. And they were in the top 8.
And after the Barcelona away game, you're sitting going,
actually,
we're not bad here. Actually, we're not that far away.
Are we really Europa League level?
You never actually. You can hear everybody can have all the opinions in the world, but then that was it.
You could see it.
We're at the top table. We're
holding their own, as they say. Aye, okay, boys. Optimistic for next season. Is it all about Europe again? Do we? I don't mean arrogance, but do we kind of sit the league at the side? That
No,
it's done?
I think it's about progression.
Progression.
Aye.
Right.
And try to.
And what aspect?
Wait till that door.
Sorry, wait, stop.
We need hold on. That is a classic moment in a podcast.
Kieran's mum has just brought him in a pint.
A pint of lager for a favourite son.
She must have knew I was empty.
I got 7.5 minutes since she broke the last one.
Fantastic.
Looking at the size of the kite, she must have brought you biscuits for quite a few years.
that's my brother.
Don't turn personal.
That's in our genes.
Big bond, alright.
Right, so we're optimistic about next season.
Progress. As I was saying, if we can progress on what we've achieved this year,
right,
and what our progression is and what it looks like, we'll just need to wait and see.
Right.
Maybe to win the league sooner.
Right.
Maybe to win the treble. Maybe to progress in Europe further. I don't know.
Okay.
I would be. It's going to be really tough to achieve more this next season than what we've achieved this season.
Because it's been so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
Do you? Happy with that? Just looking for progress.
Yeah. Can't wait the next park.
You've not got long. The next park signing, is that what you're saying? John Park signing, aye. Yep, okay. You get your eyes on that. We've certainly unearthed a few gems, that's for sure.
That's the game we're in, isn't it?
Stephen, you got enough scarves to nervously eat through for next season? Do you need to stock up during the mid kind of close season?
No, I'm
Is that how it works?
It's a sale.
Does he? Aye.
The sleeves starting to look a bit frayed.
I've been nibbling that today.
Brilliant. And gearing for yourself.
First few months of the season are going to be critical for us.
Right.
I think we're going to have 2 or 3 qualifying rounds.
3.
Yep.
So I think July and August.
That's
for
the big
me,
thing.
for me, concentrating, getting into Europe and getting to the group stages again, and we can delay the assault on the Premier League title until we're safely negotiated the qualifying round. Same as what we done last year.
Yep.
Can I keep the big boys fresh, and I think the first round and possibly even the second round are going to be really difficult encounters because they come so early for us.
Just the timing.
The thing is, I think sitting here now looking at in the past season, we significantly overachieved on my expectations at the start of the season.
Aye.
So to get to the Champions League stages was a fantastic achievement.
Yep.
And then from there to
through
the progress.
Group,
I mean, even you would have been happy with getting the UEFA place out of that group.
Exactly. When you first seen that group,
when you seen the draw. I mean, ITV's tweet. I love seeing
goodbye.
Being retweeted. Goodbye Celtic.
Aye.
I would just like us to get to the group stages again and maybe get some teams at places that we've not been.
Right, that aspect. Okay.
We've seen been to Lisbon and Barcelona and kind of like umpteen times. Give us some fresh faces.
You're wanting to go to Gibraltar now that they're
There's going to be another wee bit of interest turning up to Parkhead next season as well.
Which is?
It's all going to be brand new.
It's all going to be
Commonwealth Games.
It's all going to be posh.
The plan permission got accepted 2 weeks ago.
That's right, with the school and everything.
What's the walkway?
The Celtic walkway.
Celtic walkway.
It was like the walkway of heroes or something.
Lined with bronze statues.
So Edinburgh's got
just call Avenue instead of Avenue of Stars, Avenue of Hoops.
Avenue of Hoops, that'll do. And how many pictures with the shambolic flag doing that walkway can we have?
I don't know, Richard. We'll need to see.
Dozens.
I think with Kevin's skill at climbing
flag placement.
Flag placement.
I'll do.
Right, I'll let these boys get back into the shambolic evening. Thanks for being here this season in the podcast. Mid-July, we're going to be talking again soon enough anyway. There you go. So hail.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, 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 tock.
And there you have it. The end of another Tic Talk podcast. The end of another cup final winning day, and the end of another incredible Celtic season. It's been one hell of a journey with many memories and some fantastic shambolic laughs along the way. We hope that you've enjoyed following us with our Carluke Shamrock journey throughout this season, and of course all of the other Celtic family podcasts. You can find us all at hailhailmedia.com or through Spreaker, through iTunes and through YouTube by searching for Hail Hail Media. I'd like to thank all of the boys and girls who have taken part in our many shows throughout the season, and we'd like to thank all of the listeners for listening in, and also for the different emails and tweets and messages and all the kind questions and feedback and everything that you've given us. It's very much appreciated. We of course are doing it just for the crack, just for the laugh, just for the shambolic getting together and having fun, and we will certainly continue in that vein when the next season kicks off very, very shortly. So stay safe over the close season, raise your glass for the champions, the double winning champions, and look forward to another roller coaster Celtic season ahead of us. And we'll speak to you very, very soon. From sunny Carluke, hail, hail.
The thing I want to see the most is the Glasgow Celtic score. I've been to Munich, been to Paris and Berlin. I watched injustice fall upon you in Turin, and I've shared the pain and glory with the friends that I have made as I dance from place to place in green and white on a worldwide tin parade.